Hello. I'm here because in my business and so forth, I feel I'm a procrastinator. And I know the answer is just do it. But
well, that's not our answer. In fact, we want to shake this up in a way that you'll really understand it. Procrastination is far more often a good thing than a bad thing. Write it down. Because when you don't feel like doing something and you do it anyway, you're bucking a current and it's a waste of time. And all you do is get hold of those oars and then tell us the story of how valiant you are and start insisting that you need monuments in your name. When you take the time to line up energy, when you get vibrationally in sync with an idea, procrastination doesn't even enter in. You're so full of inspiration that nobody can keep you from doing it. Haven't you ever had something like that where you wanted it and you knew you wanted it, and even though people who were reasonably wise around you were trying to discourage you, what they said didn't make any difference because you knew that this was the direction for you to go? That's what inspired action is, you see. So when people talk about procrastination, they are trying to orient themselves in an action-oriented world, because everybody's had the experience of, I didn't really feel like doing it, and but I made myself do it, and once I started doing it, then I felt more like doing it. And don't disagree with that. We know that you can not feel like doing something and you can force yourself to do it, and then you can sort of get focused on the idea of it, and then you line up your energy. We're not saying that action cannot sometimes lead to energy alignment, but we will always say action first is always backwards. In moving through procrastination by forcing yourself to do something that you don't feel like doing, you can go through the motions, but you will not get the results, we promise you. So what you want to say is not, oh, I'm just going to bask in my feeling of procrastination forevermore. No one will ever make me do something. That's not the point we're wanting to make. What we want you to say to yourself is, when I feel like this, my action is going to be hard. And sometimes I have to push through because I have a commitment and I said I would. But my dominant intent is to give my thoughts to my dreams so profoundly that I am coming so abundantly and often into alignment with who I really am, that inspiration is the order of my day. Can you imagine if Jerry and Esther had said to the river guide, where does this raft get out of the river? And he would have said, several miles downstream in Fort Collins. And can you imagine if Jerry and Esther had said, well, then we would like to put our raft back on the bus and bus it down the canyon, and we'd like to put it in the river about 50 yards from where we're going to take it out, because we like instant manifestation. And he would say, whatever you want, crazy lady, but I thought you wanted a ride on the river. And what we want you to get the feeling of is, when you are deliberately turning downstream, reaching for relief, when you are deliberately reaching for better feeling thoughts and consistently turning downstream so that you're going with the flow, the things that occur to you occur in a timely manner. You rendezvous with circumstances and events. There begins to get a momentum going that carries you, and you begin to understand that effort and action are irrelevant under those conditions. But until you get lined up, you're doing a lot of action to make things happen. We want you to have action, because action is a delicious way that you enjoy life experience. We just want you to use your action to enjoy what you've created through vibrational alignment, not to try to create with the action. Your leverage is in alignment, you see. So when you say, I don't feel like doing that, we say, then it's not the right time. When you say, well, I could do it, but I'd have to really buck up and make myself do that, then we would say, we would do something else rather than buck up. We would focus on the dream. We would do our best to get excited about the dream. We would think about what we want and why we want it. We would remember where we started. We would try to hook on to the vibrational essence of where we're going. We'd line up the energy. And then we promise you, the word procrastination would never come out of your mouth. Tell us what you feel procrastination about. What's an example?
Well, cold calls and expanding my business.
All right, so I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like doing it. I don't want to do it. So you don't do it. So you say, well, so the action right now is not the best thing for me to do because I can feel that I don't want to do it, which must mean my energy is not in alignment. So then you step back from the determination to act, and instead you say, what's this about anyway? Why am I even doing this business? Well, because I believe that it's of value, and I think that it adds value to others, and it certainly will add value to me. And when I first heard about it, I remember feeling excited about it, and I thought that it was something that I could do. And I remember thinking that it is something that I would like to apply myself to, and that as I did apply myself, that it could net me a good return, and it would provide me an avenue to do less of some of the other things that I'm not enjoying so much, and more of the things that I am wanting. And I thought it felt good. It felt so refreshing to me, and I remember that feeling of wanting to do it. And just in that much conversation, your feeling of procrastination is gone. There was just that little bit of dialogue lined you up, and now not only did it line you up with being able to do the action, it lined you up with an action that will be productive when you do it. That's the difference. When you make yourself do something that you don't want to do, you're just banging around the hard way, and that's why next time you don't want to do it either. That's why they call them cold calls. You're hanging out there. It is. Nothing's warmed them up. The energy's not in alignment. The universal fairies of the universe haven't set things into circumstances and events. You're not inspired to the right action. You rendezvous with the wrong person. You get the result that you don't want. And you say, hey, I don't like that. And we don't blame you. That's not who you are. That's not what it's about. That's not what you signed on for. You signed on to dream and expand and refresh and improve. That's what you signed up for, you see. Yes.
Well, I thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Nice.
That's really good.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Abraham and Esther Hicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome, and it's really fitting, isn't it? I think everyone has issues with procrastination, and the first time I thought about it is it's really about the energy. You know, it's really about getting the energy into why you're doing something. It's not that you're not, you know, it's not that it's you. In other words, you have to feel like you want to do it, not do it because you don't feel like doing it and force yourself. And I agree with that. Like most of the time, what I try to do is try to force myself into doing it so that I feel better about doing it, instead of trying to get into alignment about, hey, this is what I want to do. This is exciting, you know. This is about my dreams, and it's about the vibrational alignment to it. And I agree with that too. Then you're just doing something not at 100% because you're not totally in sync with what you're doing. You know, and you can feel that when you're in sync with something that you really want to do, you're really excited about it, and then it's just flowing. You don't have to, you're not procrastinating about it. And that's why someone like Mark can put in 16 hours a day on doing something, because he's so excited about it. He's just doing it, you know, he's not having to force himself. Yeah. So, yeah. So that's cool. I love it.
Yeah, I really like that. And it's so interesting because last night, you know, my husband and I went to the movies, and so I was up way past my bedtime. And so when I woke up this morning, I was just like, you know what, I'm not getting up. So I didn't get up at 3, I got up at 4. And then at 4, I was like, you know what, I don't even know if I'm going to get up. I'm so tired. I can totally be okay to sleep in. But then as I was laying there, I was thinking, you know what? Like, I want something different. I need to do something different. I have to make sure that I'm consistent with the things that are important to me to get the results I want. So I got up, and then I was freaking out, like, I'm not going to have enough, because then my Virgo kicks in. I'm not going to have enough time to get everything done that I need to get done before the meeting starts. And you know what? The alignment came into play, because I got done. The only thing I didn't get done was taking a shower. But like, I can totally take a shower after this. But I got my workout in, I got my meditation, and I got my journaling, and I got like everything that I do in, just because like I do videos, and it's in a series, like it's this, you know, 30-day cycle that we're doing. And today's video just happened to be a really short video. It was a strong core workout, but it was a short video. So it gave me the, you know, the right time. And when she was saying that, I thought about that, like, when it's something that you want to do, the procrastination, it may like tickle you at first because, yeah, I would rather be sleeping. but what I want is so important to me that I'm going to get out of bed anyway. I'm going to do what I got to do. And then I felt like I was rewarded for my commitment to being consistent by having just enough time to get it all in. And I had 10 minutes left before I could have jumped in the shower, but I was like, I can take a shower after, and so I just like, that's really cool. And I feel like she said, that's the alignment. Like it just things like I don't have to focus on oh my gosh, the time and the stress of it. It's just like, you know what, do what I can do because this is important to me. And then it all just came together perfectly. And I was really encouraged by that. So I like that she confirmed that for me this morning.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's awesome that comes this morning, right? When you need it.
Yeah.
And me too. Like, the other thing I find is like when you start something new, you're always excited about it, whether it's going to the gym or whatever. And then that excitement wears off, and then you start slacking off, not doing what you said you were going to do. And then you go back into your old routine of not doing what it is that you do, instead of, making it into just a way of life. It's just what you do all the time, your routine. And, and I always thought, why is that? We're so excited about doing some business, and then it kind of dwindles off a little bit instead of that excitement being as good as it was right at the beginning. So, and that's the reason. It's the vibration and the thinking, having that dream and staying on that vibration instead of looking at it as work and tasks that need to be done.
And I've heard a lot of people say, like, we can't always, like, it's important to have a mentor so that they can help you to see where you're falling short. But at the same time, we have to remember that the dream that God has given us is our dream. And so no one else can really tell you how it's going to look when it gets played out. So, and I was thinking about this, like in this network marketing industry, like the statistics are pretty not in the favor of super success. And I think the reason is because everybody's trying to do it one specific way. But if we look at the leaders in the industry from all the different companies, each one of them will say, well, you can do it this way. Yes, you have to be in action. Yes, you have to talk to people. The numbers don't lie, but how you go about it doesn't necessarily have to be the same, because if the way that the industry is taught was the best way, then it would be so many more success stories. But what happens is a person finds their own way. They get the basic skills of selling or whatever, but then they do it in their way. Like Onyx, she went to SPD in like 18 weeks or 18 months or something, right? And so she didn't go out there and talk to 100 people a day. She said, as I'm living life, I would make sure that I'm every single day. So yeah, you have to talk to people. Yeah, the more people you talk to, the better. But how do you do it? You have to do it with whatever is the way that is best in alignment with you, or else you'll procrastinate. And I think that explains why so many people in our industry give up, because they didn't stick in it long enough to find the way that works best for them. They just kept trying to do what everybody is telling them, even though it didn't feel good with them, because their dream isn't everybody else's dream. You just got to know certain skill sets, but you have to work it out your way. And I like that our team, we kind of are allowing that with everyone. Like, everybody's got different gifts and talents and stuff, but we're all working our business and we're getting different speeds of success. But those of us who stick with it and find our way, I think we'll be the ones who have lasting success and will stay with it longer.
Yeah. And that, we're really focused on mindset, because that's the main missing element for most people. All the mechanics of what to do is one thing, but if you can't get yourself to do it, that's the harder part. And so that's the secret. If some people have that naturally, like a very small percentage of people have that naturally, that they can get themselves to create, because without action, you've got nothing. So you have to have effort and action. But really, as Esther's saying, effort and action are irrelevant. It's the action to enjoy the vibrational alignment. So you got the vibrational alignment, then you're in line with what you're doing, and then that's where the enjoyment is and action. So yeah, some people that small percentage that are hugely successful have that figured out. It's the people, the rest don't, because there's a million different ways of how it's supposed to be done. Yeah, and I've been finding more and more.
If you haven't got your mind right.
Yeah, you haven't got your mind right to be able to do it and do it right. like do it consistently and put the effort in, no matter what it is, whether it's working 8 hours straight or whether it's doing it every once in a while or just whatever. And you can see that when you meet people like Onyx, right? And you can see that their energy is all around just making things happen no matter what, you know. They're just like, we all know people like that. For the rest of us, we need to fine tune that and work on it. And that's why they say this is a personal development industry. It's not about the work, it's about the personal development. And we were just talking this week, and I got to see more and more people are saying the hardest thing that they find is actually when they sit down to do the work, they get, something comes up, they're distracted. The dog comes in the room, the kids come in the room, whatever, and they don't get the work done. And that's what they're having struggles with. And I think that's like 99% of the people are having struggles. And what I learned from lockdown in the last 2 years, with no outside distractions for like, I don't know how many months, 6 months, a year, whatever, there's still distractions because they're still in your head. And so you sit there and you don't have to go to any birthday parties or go out or do anything, but you still can't get things done like you want to get done.
Yeah. The healthy habits make all the difference, you know.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of like focusing when you're feeling like, you know, you don't want to do this, and you start to ask yourself, okay, why do I want to do this? Why is this important to me? Like, to get yourself back into alignment. And I remember talking with my sons about that when they were giving me a little bit of grief about some of the volunteer activities that, you know, they have to do. And I was like, well, you do this because you're in agreement with the motto of the Boy Scouts, right? Like, you do this because you support that idea, and that's something that's important to you. Like, that's why you do this. And so you have to remember that when the going gets tough. And it's so funny because as a parent, you teach them all the healthy and right things to do to like be successful. And then it comes time to do it. It's like, I forgot what to do. Why am I doing this? It sucks. I hate cold calling. But again, why am I doing it? Well, maybe I don't believe that cold calling is the best way to do it. And so that's why it's out of alignment with me. And so, you know what I mean? So I just thought, you know, it's so funny. But it's a good reminder too, to ask yourself those questions.
Yeah, and I always think back of when I was a kid and going through school, and I always think that I never learned those skills from day one. And if those skills were, actually, I learned the opposite skills. I learned that if I try at something to get something done, it'll just lead to failure, you know, in school. And then so my subconscious mind is getting programmed to that as a young, I would say since maybe grade 7 or grade 8, right? Of when you really started to have to do work and not just go run around and have fun. But grade 7 and grade 8 started in me to, you know, do well on tests and do assignments and do that. And it's the same thing with the Boy Scout stuff. Why do I want to go out and do this work when I don't want to do that? It's the same reason. Why do I want to study for the test, or why do I want to do well on an assignment? You know, it's because learning that skill of how to get it done. And for instance, even all through high school, I wrote all my exams just by trying to figure out the answers to the questions of what I was seeing on that day. I didn't study anything. It was, if I could figure out some algebra equation, I would figure it out on the spot. So I did learn another skill. I'm able to learn things quickly as they're needed, you know, rather than memorize them and learn them. But that that thing, I think it's really important growing up to have that skill of knowing that you need to work hard at something and get it done, and then feel good about getting it done, and knowing how to plan for it. Because if you're going to do an assignment or study for an exam, it's not a 1 hour thing. It's like you got to space that out over a month or two of being consistent, so you're ready when that thing comes up, not having to do, you know, cram everything in one night. So now those skills.
And that's a good thing too. That's preparation. And at the Super Bowl, they were talking about one of the commercials was for like some app, and they used a QR code on the screen, and they had their QR code bouncing, like how, you know how you do that thing where it never hits the corner, so everybody's like waiting for it to hit the corner. So they did that, but they didn't prepare well enough because they got so much traffic to their site as a result of their Super Bowl ad. I don't know what they were thinking and not prepare. Their site crashed.
Wow.
So yeah, and so like what you're saying, you have to take the time to prepare for the big thing. So if it's a test, like you said, you got to take a month or two to study and make sure that you know the material if you want to do well on the test. And it's the same thing in our business. Like we have to prepare. We're preparing ourselves mentally because it's a challenge. We have to prepare ourselves like with the skill sets and a little bit of knowledge on how to market our product, or, you know, what tools are available to market the product. But you have to be prepared for the goal that you want, or else when it comes, it could all come crashing down, right? If we take that commercial, like as, you know, an example, it could all come crashing down, and then you miss out. You miss out on helping people. People miss out on what you have to offer because you're not really prepared with what they need. And that's unfortunate.
You don't know how to get it done. Get it done, and you're not prepared. And another thing that just popped in my mind, for school, for me, I can never see the value in learning something like trigonometry, right? Or physics, and spending that time. So it comes down to this whole alignment, and if I felt passionate about learning that trigonometry, for example, then I would have put the time into it, but I never could see the value in that or other things. And so it was that time never got put in. So that starts a pattern or a routine of trying to do anything later in life, you know, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
on.
so that's why we have to be able to stay focused on what the value is of everything we do. Like with math, because I was one of those kids, but my mom literally told me, you're never going to need to know math. I was like, okay, I hate math and I'm never going to learn it. But I know as an adult, I'm like, well, you do need to know math to cook. You do need to know math if you want to, you know, build something, repair something, hang some photos, center on a wall. Like you got to be able to figure these things out, and math helps you with that. So when my kids grumble about their classes, even though I want to be like, yeah, I remember I hated that so much, I say, well, there's definitely value there, because when you're an adult, you're going to need this for this or that. So I'm trying to help them to understand you have to seek value in everything. If we believe that everything is everything because we're believers of the Lord, then we have to understand that there's value in everything. You just have to see what it is. Choose to find value in every experience. Like Mark would say, everything that you do, you can create content from. Like everything that we do, there's some kind of value. Either it's a lesson, it's always a lesson, either for us or for us to share, right? And so do we take the time to recognize the value, count your blessings, be of a grateful mindset to see what opportunity is presented to us in every challenge, or even, you know, every reward? Or do we just breeze by things because we're so focused on what we think is important instead of really taking time to assess what's going on?
Yeah, yeah. And the main value is learning how to learn and learning how to get things done. Even if you don't want to learn it, you know how to get it done, you know how to learn it, and then that's a skill you can carry through for your whole life, because that's important. You know you can do it. So otherwise it's in your subconscious mind, then you got to dig it out and work with it. And I think that's the case for a lot of people, you know. So, yeah. Right on. Okay, we're down to a minute. What do you think, Tamara? Got anything in a
being
minute?
nostalgic because you guys traveled through time and math.
Yeah, it's really cool how you know, the energy just flows on these conversations, and that's cool. Just need Esther to like spark it, give it a spark. But I love the animation. Isn't that awesome?
I love it too.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, let's get together tomorrow.
Okay. Hey, Don, do you ever talk about Forex?
We can. Yeah, I know you mentioned that. We could talk about trading at some point. Is that what you were getting at? But I know I don't.
I just wanted to know a little about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll go over a quick overview of that. I just find it hard trying to teach people that, and there's a lot of people out there. But we can go over a quick overview of what it is and how it works.
Maybe on a Saturday call.
Okay. Awesome. Cool.
Right on. Thanks, Don.
The one with the cone of silence. So you have to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye,
Have an awesome
Tamara.
Bye.
See you.